Hello everyone, my name is Saloni Gupta and today's topic which I am going to start is monetary policy. But before starting, let's understand what is monetary policy and this topic comes under which unit. This topic comes under banking and financial institution, and it is the part 1, monetary policy part 1, because this unit is very large, so it will not be completed in a single session. Henceforth, it is the part 1 of monetary policy. But what is monetary policy? If in a very layman language, if you will understand, if monetary means, if you will divide these two terms, that is, first is monetary and second is policy. Monetary means what? Monetary you can identify from the word that is related to finance or related to money. Okay, and policy means what? These are the procedures, these are the guidelines which help any firm, any business organization, any institution to carry out its activities. So these are the guidelines. Okay, so monetary policy means those guidelines which help the nation, which help any business to impact, to create money sensation, to create credit creation, to create credit control in the economy. That is monetary policy, means those guidelines which help in the regulation of money in the economy. Now let's understand with the help of its definition, it will be more clear to you. Monetary policy. Okay, overview of monetary policy. One of the important functions of the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India is what? Reserve Bank of India is our central bank. We all know that every nation there is one central bank. Be it USA, be it India, be it Russia, whatever the nation is, every nation has its own central bank. And India, what is the central bank? Who is the central bank? That is RBI. Reserve Bank of India of the country is to formulate and administer the monetary policy. Means the important function of RBI is what? That is, central bank is what? Is to formulate, means is to create and administer the monetary policy. The making of the policies related to money, related to finance is a monetary policy which RBI has to make, RBI has to implement in the economy. Okay, and what does monetary policy do? Monetary policy refers to that policy through which the central bank of the country, central bank of the country means RBI of the country, controls what it controls, the supply of money. Wait, let me erase all these. Okay, supply of money. Supply of money means what? The creation of money. Okay, the prevalent of money, the money which is prevailing in the whole country, money which is circulating in the whole country is the supply of money. Okay, where the money is required, from where the money can be procured, all these things comes under supply of money. Second is availability of money, means how much money is available in the economy. Suppose if a businessman wants money for his own organization, for building his own business firm or organization, so what he will do? He will borrow that money from the sources called bank. Okay, cooperative banks, commercial banks, whatever the sources will be, he will borrow the money from that source. So if when the source will have that particular money, then only the bank will lend to the borrower. If the borrower is borrowing money, he must be having a authentic source from which he is borrowing money. That is the bank. Banks are the authentic source which can lend you money to the borrower. So availability of money is a paramount important thing for creating credit control, for making policies related to monetary. Third is cost of money or rate of interest in order to attain a set of objectives oriented towards the growth and stability of the economy. Cost of money means the value of money. Means what is the value of money? Suppose if I'm earning 1000 per day, okay, for suppose if I'm earning 1000 per day, will this value be the same after 5 years? After 5 years, if you are earning 1000 per day, will that earning will give you the same value which you were gaining 5 years ago? No. Why? So because the time value changes, the value of money changes on every year, every month, every unit, the value of money will get changed. So the cost of money means, what is the cost of money, what is the value of money which I am gaining today, and what is the value of money which I have gained earlier, or I am gaining in after 2 years, 3 years. The cost of money varies. Rate of interest, again rate of interest also varies. For example, if you are if you are taking a loan from a certain bank with an interest of suppose 5%, okay, after 10 years the interest, after 10 years again you are borrowing the money, but the rate of interest will be high, that is of 10%. So rate of interest also vary with the change in time period. In order to attain a set of objectives, to make objectives oriented towards the growth and stability of the economy, for maintaining the stability in the economy, and for growing the economy, for making the economy at its top level, we need to make certain objectives, we need to make certain policies, procedures in an economy, so that economy can grow faster and rapidly. Okay, so this was all about your overview of monetary policy, that is the glimpse of monetary policy. Why monetary policy is needed in the economy? It is needed for the supply of money, how much money is being supplied to certain banks, to certain institutions, to certain persons. Availability of money, how much money is available in the country, in the economy, whether it has its foreign reserves or not, whether that the availability of money can help in export or import or not. So all these things are required to maintain the availability of money, cost of money or rate of interest. So these are the central banks of the country has to maintain monetary policy in order to control all these three things, that is supply of money, availability of money, and cost of money. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. We have certain objectives. Again, monetary policy, if any policy is being created in the country, implemented in the country, then what are the objectives behind that? What is the motto behind that for creating any objectives? So the objectives for which the monetary policy has been created is that accelerating the growth of the economy. Again the same thing, accelerating means giving a pace to the growth of the economy. The economy will grow at a faster and rapidly. If there is exchange rate, if there are credit inflow, if there are credit creation, credit control, so this will affect the growth of the country either in positive way or in negative way. So accelerating the growth of the economy is one of the objectives of the monetary policy. Then next is maintaining price stability. Again, price stability means a price which should be stable, which should be fixed. Okay, for suppose price stability, suppose if you are buying certain product, if you are buying a certain product, for example, if you are buying 4 packets of Maggi in rupees 100, at rupees 100 you are buying 4 packets of Maggi, okay, today, and day after tomorrow, means after 1 or 2 days, again if you are buying 4 packets of Maggi at the rate of 120 rupees. So what happens after 2 days, the price increases from 100 to 120, that is 20 rupees 20, there is an increment of rupees 20. So will this affect the economy? Yes, this will affect the economy, because we are not allowed to increase the money frequently. Yes, valuation of money decreases, inflation occurs, everything is okay, but within a fraction of seconds it is not good for the economy. So we have to maintain price stability, so that the economy also have to be stable. If there is stagflation, deflation, inflation, these are one or the other way these will affect the economy. So maintaining price stability means if you are buying 4 packets of Maggi at rupees 100, so next day there are 99% chances that you will get 4 packets of money at the same rate, that is 100 rupees. Okay. Any circumstances came like for example COVID. When COVID came, there was the drastic change in the economy from day 1 to day 10 or day 5. But except that if the economy is a healthy economy, then there must be a price stability, means price should be stable at certain time. It should not be unstable always. Third is generating employment. Okay, how we can generate employment by the monetary policy? Okay, this is the question. See, what happens when the monetary policy is implemented? There are the committees formed the monetary policy, and it was not that in the year 1947 or after independence only monetary policy came. No, monetary policy was implemented by the monetary policy committee. Okay, so generating employment means that if you will generate employment, there will be more people working in the banking sector, there will be more people working in the insurance company, because all are related to finance. And if there is finance, then there must be employment, because money creates money. Okay, you have heard that money creates money. So if there is finance, if there is more workload, if there is more working place, then there must be more employment, there must be more people to work there. So employment, it also generates employment. Okay, last is stabilizing the exchange rate. Stabilizing means again making it stable. And exchange rate is what? Means exchange rate is the currency of your country and the currency of another country, that is the exchange rate. For example, in US there is a dollar, and in India there is a rupee. Okay, so if you want to purchase anything from US, you need to pay in dollar. All right, you need to pay, if you want to purchase that product, you need to pay the currency in dollars. And if someone wants to purchase something from India, they need to pay it in rupees to attain that product. So similarly, stabilizing the exchange rate means that suppose if $1, according to today's scenario, $1 is equal to 85 rupees. If suddenly $1 equals to 95 rupees, if it happens suddenly, then it means you have to spend 95 rupees in order to attain $1. So exchange rate should also be stabilized, means should also be stable. It's not like that you have to, if you $1 is equal to 105, 110, yes, it will occur in some time, but not frequently. So stabilizing the exchange rate is also one of the motto of monetary policy. And for these reasons only monetary policy has been implemented in India by RBI. And for this the committee has to be set up. Okay, later on we will read about the monetary policy committee. Okay, hope so you have understood this slide. Okay, let's move forward, that is types of monetary policy. Now we will going to learn what are the types of monetary policy. Broadly, there are two types of monetary policy. The first is expansionary monetary policy and second is contractionary monetary policy. From the name itself it is clear. Expansionary means you are expanding monetary policy. Suppose this is you are expanding to B, and its opposite is contractionary. Contractionary means you are contracting, means suppose from here to here if it was, then you are contracting to, so hence it becomes from here to here. Okay, so contracting means becoming less, and expansionary means to expand, to making it large. Now let's understand what is expansionary monetary policy. It is also called accommodative monetary policy. Remember, the second name of expansionary monetary policy is accommodative monetary policy. And its main purpose, its primarily purpose is to increase the money supply in the economy through measures. Means to increase the money supply in the economy. To increase the money supply in the economy means in the economy there will be a lot of money. In the very layman language, if you will get to know, that is increasing the money supply means in the economy there will be a lot of money in everyone's hand, in every government, in every big businessman, HNI people, that is high network individuals, they will be having a lot of money in their hands. And what are the measures to increase the money supply? That is decreasing interest rate. Okay, decreasing interest rate, how? Suppose if the interest rate is low, okay, suppose the normal interest rate is 7%. If interest rate becomes low, that is from 7% to 5%, then what will happen? More people will take loan, more people will apply for the loan. Why so? Because the interest rate has become low. From 7% it has become 5%, means 2% have lessened the interest rate. So it makes it less expensive. It makes it less expensive for consumers to borrow money, thus increasing the money supply in the market. If consumer will borrow, if there will be less interest rate, then more consumer will borrow, and if more consumer will borrow, then there will be money in the economy, then the money will circulate in the economy. More and more people will borrow the money, borrow the loan, borrow the money from the bank, and the money supply will increase. So this is the first reason. Okay, hope so you got it. Second is lowering reserve requirements for bank. Lowering reserve requirements for bank. Let me delete this. Okay. How reserve requirement for banks? Means it leaves commercial banks with more money to lend to the public, thus infusing more money into the economy. Lowering reserve requirement for banks. See, later on you will read that there are the tools of monetary policy. There are two types of tools, that is quantitative and qualitative. All these things we will going to learn in our next video. Okay? So in there is cash reserve ratio. Cash reserve ratio is what? That the bank has to reserve some percentage of its money to RBI. Okay, 4%, or you can say 5%, that is CRR. It has to maintain with RBI. Suppose the commercial bank maintains 5% with RBI, but if we lower the rate, okay, if we lower the rate to 4%, then what will happen? The RBI will be left with only 4%, and the extra 1% will be lended to people, lended to consumers. So what will happen? If the consumer will borrow more and more money, then again the money supply will increase in the economy. Okay, so this is what lowering reserve requirements for bank. It leaves commercial banks with more money to lend to the public, and they will be left with more money so that they can lend to the public, and after borrowing from bank, the public will create more money, more demand in the market. Third is purchasing government securities by central banks. What central banks do? Central banks purchase securities from the government. If they will purchase securities from the government, what they will do? They will give money to the government. Okay, government will have more money and banks will have more securities. So money is what? Money is circulating in the market. Okay, government will have more money in the market, and with that money what the government will do? He will create expenses on roadways, on transport, on vehicles, on many more things which India needs, which economy wants. So in this way the monetary policy helps in the increment of money supply in the economy through various measures. Okay, this is what expansionary monetary policy. We are expanding the money in the economy, and its reverse is what? Contractionary, where we are contracting the money from the economy, where we are infusing the money. Okay, next, in the next slide, what is contractionary monetary policy? It is used to decrease the amount of money supply in the economy through measures. We are contracting. And what are those measures? suppose interest rate, raising the interest rate. In the expansionary, what we did, we decreased the interest rate so that more people can borrow the money. But if we increase the interest rate, if we raise the interest rate, then less people will borrow the money, and henceforth there will be no money in the economy. Okay, second is increasing the reserve requirement for banks. See, what we have read in expansionary monetary policy, all the opposite things will come under contractionary monetary policy. Here we have read about the decreasing interest rate. In contractionary, we will be learning about increasing interest rate. Here we lower reserve requirement. In contractionary, what we do, we will increase the reserve requirement. If we increase the reserve requirement for banks, again no money will left to the bank to lend to the public, and if public will not borrow from bank, they will have no money, and if they will have no money, then there will be no money in the economy as well. Hope so you got this point. Third is selling government bonds. Again, if the central bank sells their bond, central bank will catch the money from the government. Okay, they will infuse the money from the government, and if the money is with the central banks, what will happen? There will be no money left to circulate in the economy. So government will also be having no money left to raise the things in the economy. The buyers of government securities pay cash to RBI. This means the money available in the market decreases. The money which is supplied in the market, the money which is being circulated in the market, it will be decreased because of selling government bonds, because of increasing the reserve requirements for banks, because of increasing the interest rate as well. So these were the reasons why monetary policy contracts and monetary policy expands. So two types of monetary policy: contractionary monetary policy and expansionary monetary policy, and ultimately it is aimed at reducing inflation. Why inflation occurs? Inflation occurs when there is a lot of money in the market, a lot of money in the economy, then only inflation occurs. Then only, if there will be no money in the economy, then there will be no inflation. Okay, inflation means rising the prices of products and reducing the purchasing power of person, and reducing the purchasing power of whom? Of people. This is the meaning of inflation. Purchasing power means the capability to purchase thing will become down. Hence, why so? Because the prices of the products rises. Okay, the best example for this is, suppose you are for rupees 10, okay, you are having 2 chocolates, and if the inflation occurs in the market, for rupees 10 you will be only having 1 chocolate because the prices of that chocolate has increased. So the purchasing power decreased, where the consumer can purchase 2 products with 10 rupees. After inflation, there is the purchaser or the buyer has only left with 1 product because the purchasing power has been decreased and the prices of the chocolate has been increased. So okay, this is the theory of inflation. Hope so you got this point. Now next topic is MPC. That is what I have made you clear in the starting of the video. Monetary Policy Committee. Monetary Policy Committee. Okay, the idea to set up MPC was mooted by an RBI appointed by Urjit Patel committee. When this committee was implemented, when the thought came to create such committee, to implement such committee, then who was the governor of RBI at that time? At that time, the RBI governor was Urjit Patel. So that is why this committee is known as Urjit Patel Committee. And the idea to set up MPC was mooted by an RBI. Okay, so this committee was set up at that time when the governor of RBI was Urjit Patel Committee, and henceforth this committee is also known as Urjit Patel Committee. Got it? MPC of India was formed in which year? In the year 2016, dated 27th of June. So this was the part of cramming. You have to cram all these things. Section 45ZB of the amended RBI Act 1934 provides for an empowered 6-member monetary policy committee. The MPC, Monetary Policy Committee, consists of 6 members. And who are the 6 members? Okay, we will going to read these 6 members later, but before that there are some points. Some of the major provisions with reference to MPC are, there are some provisions which have to be created when Monetary Policy Committee was set up, and those provisions were: the committee is to meet at least 4 times a year. In a year there must be 4 meetings. Second, the committee will have 6 members. The committee will consist of 6 members. Third, the members of MPC shall hold office for a period of 4 years. Okay, the members of MPC, they have to hold the office for a period of 4 years and shall not be eligible for reappointment. Okay, those members will not be eligible for reappointment. For example, there are 4 members, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, these members have been appointed for MPC. After 4 years, these members won't get a chance to be reappointed. In place of them, there will be G, H, I, J, K, L, like this. Means these members won't be getting chances for reappointment. The quorum for a meeting of the member is MPC is 4 members. Quorum means minimum number of people required to conduct a meeting. Okay, quorum means minimum number of people required to conduct a meeting. And that meeting is what? For making decisions. For decision making, those meeting is conducted, and for them there should be 4 members. So these were the provisions of MPC. Now let's get to know who are the 6 members of MPC. In the next slide we will see. Okay, composition of MPC. The first composition is, first person will be RBI governor, means the chairperson of RBI. Now you all have to tell me, okay, you all have to comment me who is the present chairperson of RBI, means who is the present governor of RBI. The second will be the RBI deputy governor in charge of monetary policy. In charge means those who have to look after the monetary policy, deputy governor, second. Third will be one official nominated by the RBI board. RBI board has to nominate one official person, and that will be the third member. Okay, now 4, 5, 6, those 3 members will be appointed by the central government. The government will appoint these 3 members, okay, on the following recommendations, and a committee which is comprised of these recommendations. Now we have to look who the committees are. The committee will consist of the cabinet secretary, okay, the secretary of the Department of Economic Affairs, they may choose the person, RBI governor, 3 experts in the field of economics or banking, experts who have worked in economic center or the banking sector for more than 10 years, 15 years, they will have to appoint, they will have to select as nominated by the central government. So these 3 members will consist of these 3 recommendations committee, and the 4th one will be RBI governor, deputy governor, or one official nominated by RBI board. So total 3 plus 3, that is 6 members of MPC, Monetary Policy Committee. Okay, so that was all for today. Hope so you have got to know a lot of things from these videos, from this particular video. It was the part 1, and the second part we will cover the tools of monetary policy. This is very important. Okay, tools of monetary policy. There are 2 types of tools. One is quantitative and another one is qualitative. And in quantitative there are various measures, in quantitative there are various measures. We will going to cover those topics in our next video. Okay, hope so you have understood today's video. So we will going to meet in our next session, next class. Till then, take care everyone. Goodbye. Keep studying, keep watching.